Tony Sparano is one of my favorite guys to talk to on this team, and if not my favorite. You can't talk to Tony Sparano and listen to his answers without coming up with three more questions. And so when we get a chance to talk to Sparano, we talk to him for a long time. And today we talked to him about the evolution of Quenton Nelson, talked to him about the evolution of Tanner Bortolini, and this entire offensive line group. Jalen Travis, also as a rookie, kind of coming into his own and putting together really good weeks of practice and getting in to games periodically so the Colts can utilize his talents. Here's Tony Sparano talking football, and I enjoy it. I think you're going to enjoy it.
He's a really special player. I mean, he makes a lot of he affects the game in a lot of ways. He allows us to do a lot of different things, scheme-wise, run and pass, with the ability that he has. But you don't have to look very far in any of the games to find an exceptional block that he's made. I mean, he's had a ton of them. I think back to the week before that, Arizona. I mean, he had a great pull on a play that helped spring JT. That was a big play in the game. He's a truly special player. So really, we're really lucky to have him.
Do you ever, look at the way a defensive line is set up and go, man, I don't know, maybe this is the one Quenton can't get to, and then he gets to him?
I don't think that very often, no. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him and the other guys that we have, and we try to do obviously the best that we can do as a staff and that I can do as their coach to put them in the best positions that we can, to have success and execute consistently, which is what we're after. So just try to put them in the best spots that we can.
What have you seen out of him this year just as a leader, not just for the O-line, but for the entire team?
He's really done a great job. But I'll say this. I mean, he's been a great leader for since I've known him,
mm-hmm.
right? Since I've been here, I think he's done a great job with that. We have certainly felt his presence leadership-wise in the O-line room and as an offense the entire time. And I think he's just, as the years have gone by and he's gotten older, he's just matured into an even more, outspoken leader. And he stayed genuine to himself in the process and his style of leadership, which I think is really cool.
Tony, you guys were going to, there was going to be change this year. You do that, but losing Brian and losing Fries and
Mm-hmm.
getting Brain back. Was there something you needed to see early on to know, we're going to be fine, this thing will carry on?
Not that I needed to see per se, just because, again, I mean, I probably sound cliche and like a broken record, but I just got a lot of belief in the guys we have. I always have. I spoke, last year about how excited I was to get the players that we were able to acquire that year in the draft. And I felt that way for a reason. So I had a lot of belief in these players, and knew that, when given the opportunity, they would perform at a high level. And I had a lot of belief in that, and I still do. I feel that way every week. And it's my job to help them get to, their potential. And I think they all have potential to be really great players in this league. So, that's been my focus on it from the time they've gotten here up until now.
How big a help was it for Bort to play behind Ryan as a rookie?
Oh, it was a ton. Ryan's been a really good player in this league for a long time. Ryan is a great player in this league, and we're very lucky to have Ryan here for the amount of time that we did. And I was certainly lucky to coach Ryan for the 2 years that I did. But yeah, I think any time that you can watch a player and a pro like that do his job at a high level the way Ryan's always done it, you're going to learn things along the way, and I think that's been invaluable for him. And Tanner would tell you that, the amount of things just sitting in that room and seeing how Ryan sees things, or what his thought process was, or what his footwork looked like on a certain block. That stuff's really valuable. So, as a coach, obviously, you're explaining things, you're showing things, but a lot of the times when it's player to player, that just when you see another guy do it, or you hear kind of what another player's thinking, it's just super valuable.
What's the push and pull with a player like Tanner, who, you're seeing it on film to start the season, like the push of do we want to evolve a little bit with what we're able to do with him versus he's really good at this, let's just stick with that, if that makes any sense?
Listen, we try, to put the defense in conflict every week. And one thing that I think is very, very unique about our group is we're very multiple in terms of we have linemen that are not able to be successful in just one scheme, and that's something that I think is really important. We have very scheme versatile players here. We have guys that can excel in a number of ways and a number of schemes, and so I've never felt like our personnel's limited us in any way that way. So, when you have players the caliber of the ones that we do, that are able to do a lot of different things, it opens up a lot of avenues to attack the defense. So, obviously they all have strengths. We try to use those every week, and again, just their well-rounded skill set and how disciplined they are has really allowed us to do a bunch of different things, which is good.
You're talking about different things. You're talking like gap versus zone, like if you
Absolutely,
need to lean into that.
all those things. You got when you have a center that can go reach a nose like he can, but he can hold the point and gap plays. He can get out in space and pull and make things happen. It just allows you to be really multiple, and it allows you to attack a defense a lot of ways. I mean, it's no secret. You run the same things every week. I mean, these defenses are really good. These coordinators are really good. They'll find ways to take away or limit your ability to have success doing the same thing over and over and over. So you want to have ways to keep them off balance. You want to have ways to attack different parts of the defense. And to do that, you have to be scheme, versatile, and you have to have players that are able to play in different schemes, to be multiple like that, and these guys can.
I know Jalen's been in a little jumbo package or two. What have you seen as his growth?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with him. He is mature beyond his years. He's got a lot of physical talent. I mean, that's the first thing. I think anyone sees him sees that. He's a giant of a man, and really light on his feet for how big he is, but works very hard, very, very smart in terms of just being able to take things that you show him in the classroom and then work on them and get better at them out on the field. I thought last week was one of his best weeks of practice that he's had since he's been here. I thought he did a really nice job, both in the offensive reps that he had and then in the scout reps that he had against, the thing I always tell those guys is, those scout reps are incredibly valuable. You're going against the starting defense, so you're blocking the best players that we have available at those positions. So as a young player, what better way to improve and see where you stack up than to go out there and block Layatu or Samson or Quiddy, Taekwon. These are great players, right? So I thought he had a really good week last week. I'm pleased with where he's going, so I'm excited about him.
Non-line related, but you're one of a handful of guys that was with Daniel in New York. Why are you or not surprised about what's going on right now?
I'm not surprised just because I know the worker Daniel is. So, Daniel's an incredible pro. He puts everything he's got into this every single day. He works really, really hard. Like I said, I had a front row seat to that in New York, just watching him all the time and getting to work with him. And that's exactly what I felt about him that year. The guy just shows up every day. He gives you the absolute maximum that he has every single day. This is really important to him, so his care factor is incredibly high. And he's fully invested in the entire operation, right? He wants to build relationships with the other players, with the other coaches, and he really brings a lot of people together in doing that. So it doesn't surprise me at all. He's been a very good player, and he's just showing everyone what he can do, which is awesome.
As you watched him with the Giants, did you think, man, if that kid ever gets the right opportunity in the right place, he's going to do kind of what he's done this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, again, that year I was with him in New York, we saw that. He led us to the playoffs and led us to a win that year in the playoffs. On the road, we beat Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs in a primetime game, and he played lights out in that game. He was excellent. And he was a driving force behind the success that we had that year as a team. So, yeah, I've had a lot of respect for Daniel for a long time, ever since I met him. And it doesn't surprise me that he's playing the way he's playing. It's a reflection of the work that he's put in and how much he cares about this. So, it's cool to see.
There's Tony Sparano, and I got to tell you the truth. So it was supposed to be one more question. And that question was about Daniel Jones, because Sparano and Jones were together in 2022 with the Giants. There were more questions that needed to be asked, so I was like, hey, to Colts Media Relations, to Maggie, I was like, can I get one more? And ask that question of Tony Sparano about how Daniel Moore has sort of evolved and whether he thought that Jones was going to be able to do what he's done, but watching in New York thinking, hey, man, if he ever gets a great opportunity, that's one of the things that I think when you put together a veteran coaching staff, you get a lot of different perspectives about a lot of different guys. And so Sparano being a part of that Giants offense for the season that he was, I think that brought to bear some bandwidth toward Daniel Jones that I think maybe helped Steichen, helped Ballard sort of evaluate this situation and understand what Jones could do if put in the right situation. And I think that Sparano was a big part of that.